Hey fellow citizens of the world, welcome to the Chronicles, with me your host, Mark Williams. This was going to be my new YouTube video. So you've never actually looked up on it.
Wow.
Then this happened.
Roadblocks now prevent anyone entering the 12 towns in northern Italy under quarantine, and the police guard the exit points. No one can leave.
Ali say they haven't eaten for a week before police help.
For example, an elderly, immunocompromised consumer paying 10 times the regular price for some N95 masks.
The shit hit the fan, and everybody got covered in it. I'm not worried for myself as much as I am for society as a whole at this point, and how this will affect us all once the dust settles. We will eventually come together and kick COVID-19 right up its nasty virus ass. I guarantee it. However, when the bloodletting is done, it could look like a Pyrrhic victory. Definition. A Pyrrhic victory is one in which the victor pays such a high price for victory that it feels like defeat. You might win the war, but it's not going to feel like it. As a direct result of coronavirus, I'm seeing big societal shifts occurring rapidly, like by the hour, and some of these are going to be permanent. Now, I've been practicing social distancing since I had my midlife crisis, so I'm pretty good at it. It's no big deal to me. But I completely understand if you're going through it and it's got you freaked out. That's completely understandable. But I get it, and I wholeheartedly agree with it. After all, you could have COVID-19 and show no symptoms. So for the protection of yourself and others, do your distancing. It's your civic duty. They say that in war, the first casualty is the truth, and that's certainly been the case in this war. The second casualty of this war is a handshake. History of the handshake, a brief synopsis. Back in the day when it was customary to wear a weapon, said weapon was generally wielded in the right hand, so that when you shook hands, it signified you were not holding a weapon, and therefore a friendly. Now I'm sure that there are other origin stories for the handshake, but that's the one I like, so that's the one I'm serving up. The handshake as we know it is done, and here is my take on why. It's hard to imagine now, but if you're over 40, then you probably remember bareback bed hopping was all the rage. No condom, no problem. That's just how it was back then. And then in the early 80s, an epidemic took a hold of the social consciousness that changed the way society engaged in and thought about sex.
You are raising the possibility that people are dismissing it because it strikes mostly the gay community?
There is no question in my mind. If this were happening to you and the white, straight, middle-class community, it would have been attended to a long time ago.
The deadly disease AIDS now a health threat to the general population.
The government today tried to reassure people that there's no evidence AIDS is breaking out into the general population.
All this media attention and sympathy for these AIDS victims just really bothers me. Let's call a spade a spade.
The coronavirus is having the same effect, only causing much faster societal changes. The handshake is just one of the first casualties of this new societal mind shift, but it's far from the last. That Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, unwittingly turned out to be the poster boy for why shaking hands in the age of COVID-19 is not a really good idea. Check it out.
I'm shaking hands continuously. I was at a hospital the other night where I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody. You'll be pleased to know, and I continue to shake hands, and I think it's very important.
A few weeks later,
St Thomas's Hospital, after he was admitted with persistent coronavirus symptoms, during the course of this afternoon, the Prime Minister's condition worsened, and on the advice of the medical team, he was moved in to a critical care unit.
I suppose we could use gloves, but that's a little weird, and it's definitely impersonal, and it kind of defeats the whole idea of a handshake, which is to physically bomb the shaker with the shakey. What will the handshake be replaced with? Prince Charles bow? An Obama fist bump? The longer self-distancing, social distancing is practiced, the more likely that not shaking hands will become the new normal and physical touch the abnormal. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate you taking time to spend some time with me in this very difficult time for all of us. I'm gonna really try and push out these videos as much as I can. They're gonna be all about my observations of the new world we live in, because we live in a new world, a new alternate reality almost. Let's stay connected. Make sure you subscribe. Stay safe. I'll see you soon.